Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm a little hopped up on Red Bull, and Facebook made a whole bunch of changes. So you know what that means. That's right. It's that time again where everybody screams and yells and panics and freaks the fuck out because something looks a little bit different before taking a minute to find out exactly why and if it is in fact cool or not. So what you may notice now, I'm sure you've noticed by now, is that when you look at your Facebook homepage, we've got a few different things happening here. On the top, it says Top Stories. Below that, you've got all your feed. And then up there in the top right-hand corner, you've got what looks to be like another feed. Somebody put it exactly perfectly, and they said, it's kind of like a combination of Facebook and Twitter. Why would they do that? I don't know. Why would they do that? Why would the number one social network take over the most successful parts of the number two social network out there? Why would Facebook incorporate the things that people love best about their biggest competitor? I don't know. Maybe the obsolete part of their competitor? That aside, let's talk about these sections. So we're going to go a little bit out of order. The bottom section in the middle there, that's your standard feed. That's what's been going on all along. No change there. Absolutely zero. Fine. Done with that one. Above, top news. Now, top news or top news stories, however exactly they phrase it, the thing about this is going to take things for people that you interact with a lot, people whose pages you look at a lot, and stories on those pages that have a lot of traffic going on with them. So if I don't talk to Jimmy very often on Facebook, none of his shit's going to be in my top stories because really I don't really care what Jimmy has to say. Now, if Joey, on the other hand, is somebody that I click on and I look at and I comment and he likes and we go back and forth a lot, his news is going to be in my top stories, especially his news that gets a lot of interaction. I interact with Jimmy a lot, or Joey, and a lot of people are interacting with Joey a lot. Chances are I'm going to want to see it. Let's say you don't. The little blue triangle on the top there. Go ahead and click on that. You can get rid of it. Or ones that you want to be top stories. There's a little arrow you may notice in the right-hand corner of every status. Click that arrow, box drops down, mark it as a top story, so you want to put it up there in the top and see it very frequently. So now, rather than a news feed of all kinds of junk, everybody saying everything in the world, what we have here is relevancy. Things that are important to us are now put into place where we can see them easily. Sounds good to me. Now the box up in the top right-hand corner. Okay, everybody's got a beef with that. So if I say I'm going to Buffalo Wild Wings, and a couple minutes later, somebody says, ooh, honey barbecue boneless wings sounds good. Well, that is a direct response to what I just said. I mean, what the fuck else could it be? Kind of speaks for itself. If you're not sure, well, let's look at the old way. Somebody were to comment on my status, you get the little one up by your globe, and then down low it'll say so-and-so just commented on your status update. You got to click on that, be taken to the update. Now, if you don't want to click on that and leave what you're doing, it'll just come up in this feed over here in the top right-hand corner. And you can go ahead and see there. A little bit of contextual evidence will tell us exactly what that person's talking about. But in case you don't know, you really can't figure out what that's in response to, you don't have to click, you don't have to navigate away, all you have to do is hover, and the whole conversation slides out and pops up and then is scrollable within there. So now you can continue doing what you're doing, but also continue to see what's happening on the side. Real-time newsfeed. Again, more relevancy. We can see popular stories, everything else, and shit that's happening right now, both in truncated format as well as in the full version, just by hovering, no navigating away. All very useful stuff. It all makes perfect sense. Okay, it's got what Twitter doesn't have. I put a status update out, somebody responds hours later, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, unless I go to twitter.com and click on it, look at its slide out bar, but I've got to click. I have to navigate away. With Facebook, because they write everything in Ajax, which is a wonderful, wonderful web technology, we don't have to click. We can continue doing what we're doing. People have been complaining about smart lists. They're organizing people for me. How do they know what I want? Well, you kind of tell them. You're not explicitly, but based on your interaction, the way you do things. You tell them who are your friends, who are your family. You mark people as family. You interact with your friends. Chances are I interact with my closest friends more often, so they can be put into the close friends group, than I do with the people that I haven't seen since kindergarten. Not going to be in my close friends group. My behavior dictates that. Facebook makes no assumptions. By the way, historically, you'll know I'm not quick to defend Facebook. I'm very quick to find flaws in what they do. However, this time it works. What you may or may not know, depending on how much attention you pay versus time you spend griping, is that lists have been around for a long time. What they've done now, though, is created smart lists. People have not been utilizing this lists feature as well as they could have, so they created smart lists where it designs the lists for you. You still do have control. You can alter those lists in any way, shape, or form. Now, whether it's smart lists or these new boxes that we just talked about, there's one common denominator for all of this, one unifying fact. Anytime something changes in Facebook, a pop-up arrives on your homepage that gives you a description about it with a click here to learn more at the bottom or an X to close. Most people see something different. They click X to close so they can get right to the meat of what's going on, but they didn't learn more about it, so they don't know. Click learn more, then when you get rid of the box, you'll know exactly what you're looking at. That should get rid of some of the running around with my hair on fire panic mode that we go through and come up with a little bit more informed decisions. So here is the challenge to you. We'll call this Vig the Geek's Facebook Challenge. Here's what you can do. I'm going to give you a couple of options. Option number 1. Scream and yell and complain about something that may be cool, may not be cool, but you haven't given it a chance to be one or the other. 1. 2. Quit Facebook. Just knock that shit right out. Just quit. Don't use it. Tell you what, I'll give you my address. You can write me a letter and mail it to me. I promise you I will not reply, but you can if that's how you want to keep in touch, if you can't handle what they're doing. Or 3, take some time to be an adult, look through these things, and figure out what's cool and what's not cool. If you come at me informed, you go, I looked into this, I don't like it because blah, 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 blah happens. I used to do A, B, and C to get to X, Y, and Z. Now no matter what I do, I can't get to X, Y, and Z, and A, B, C takes me off into a different direction. Okay, you know what, I will respect anybody all day long if you do your due diligence and you come up with a dislike. That's fair enough. Okay? Social media got turned on its ear today. Facebook made sweeping changes. Google Plus went public. Okay? People are vying for your attention. So, you know what? There's a 4th option. Instead of just quitting Facebook and mailing me a letter, you can go ahead and go to Google Plus. I'm there as well, for example. Tell me if you like that. There's another thing. Speaking of Google Plus, Google Plus doesn't do friendships the way Facebook does. I don't click and say, will you be my friend? And then you'll say, yes, I will, and now we're connected. We do circles. So I put everybody in my circles, and whatever I say goes out to people in my circles. I see what you say, rather, by the circles that you're in. Okay, you're in my friend circle, and I look at my friends, and I see everything that you say. Facebook is doing this as well, okay, with the subscription thing. People you know now change to people you may want to subscribe to. There's still people you know. So if I'm friends with you and I'm friends with this guy that's your neighbor, he may be somebody I know. Leo Laporte is not somebody I may know. He's somebody I may want to subscribe to and see his updates, so I can do that. Don't have to be friends with the guy. Do not have to have a two-way relationship with the dude. Just want to subscribe to what he says. Now people go, well, there's a privacy issue with that. The whole world can see what I say. 2 pieces to that one. 1, you can choose to not be subscribed to. If you say, yes, subscribe to me, then people can see what you say. I don't want them to see it. Then why did you say subscribe to me? You did that. Number 2, okay, the only things that even your subscribers can see are things that you mark public. The icon for public, a globe. A globe, like the whole world, like 7 billion people. Okay? If you just want your friends, people with that two-way relationship, to see it, you mark it as friends. It's a picture of 2 people. Me as one person, you as the other person, 2 people, we can see each other's shit. And anybody else that we're friends with. Two-way relationship, 2 people, friends. Globe, everybody. If you take some private information, put it on Facebook, and say, I want somebody to see it that's on the globe, you can't be surprised when somebody that's outside of that two-way inner sanctum actually sees it. Okay? So these are all good features, gives you actually a lot more control, much more granular control. Customized people can see it, friends can see it, the world can see it. Smart list based on your interaction, also very customized list based on how you want things set up. Top stories based on who you interact with, whole feed for everybody, live things happening. All these things are things that allow you to customize your interaction with Facebook and your friends and the public at large very, very carefully at a very, very minuscule level. You can let them do it all for you. You can not pay any attention to it, or you can take control. What you'll find is the ad nauseum ranting that we used to do, hoping that somebody sees it, calling somebody, dude, you see the link I posted? No, why? I don't know, it was funny, you should have looked at it. Hours ago, that stuff goes away. Okay? It gets much more relevant. Important information. We share more, we say more, we interact more, we connect with more people. More things get lost in the shuffle. This will preclude that lost in the shuffle routine. Just a matter of figuring it out. Okay? Just like anything else in life. Just like schoolwork, driving a car, learning to cook. Anything that you do requires you to figure it out. There's a learning curve with all of it. This is the same thing. What you'll find is on the other side of that learning curve, super granular control over who sees what, who you share what with, okay? Privacy issues, and customized relevancy narrows the focus. It's all positive stuff. It addresses all the issues everybody's been complaining about. There are alternatives. There's a phone to keep in touch. There's Google Plus. Okay? So there are other alternatives for you to keep in touch with people if you don't like it. Screaming and yelling, not really an option. It's ignorant, it's uninformed, and a lot of times it's just flat out wrong because the things you say about it are inaccurate because you don't have a full picture. Do your homework or ask. Happy to help. I really am. I get irritated when we freak over everything. Now what? It's different. How am I going to get through? We will get through this together. I'm here for you. Okay? So I'm going to go play with this more. I'm customizing the shit out of all this sort of stuff so my Facebook experience will be only in a positive direction. I urge you to do the same. It's up to you. Okay? Thank you, Facebook. Just the motivation I needed to get in front of the camera. Love what you've done. Fascinated by it all. Talk soon.